looking at public health, and the mental health sectors have been areas that have been neglected, and I'm sure other people could mention others. One issue that came up really, really loud and clear, and for those of you who are at the Toronto consultation, you remember that great big huge table of everyone who is interested in issues around data, data accessibility and quality. So we want to make it clear what are the existing data sets that we can use. We would like to sort of explore possibilities of partnering with organizations like CIHI and ISIS and the different regulatory and licensing bodies to house data here so that there can be greater access for researchers, and so we really are interested in exploring those possibilities. And this would be building on existing agreements with some partners that we've already have involved, Raise the Deber and at the University of Toronto, and they have a CHR team looking at health human resources and have started fostering linkages with the Ontario licensing bodies to have access to that data. We're also working on Health Human Resources Data Directory to say, okay, here are the different kinds of data sets that there are available. Here's how you access them. These are the kinds of research questions that you can answer with these data. You know, the kinds of variables that they have, and also people who have been using those, or the people that you need to contact in order to get access to those data. So we want to work on that as another deliverable that we would have available on our website. Some of the measurement issues that came up in our consultation with the ministry is looking at how do you measure full-time equivalence by profession. It's not going to be the same. Again, the issue of how do you measure productivity. So some of the proposed tools or resources, well, I'm sure many of you have already visited our website, and thank you, because we're keeping count, and then we'll let the ministry know that we've got lots of traffic on our website, so that's great. We are in discussions with researchers at Craner, looking at the development there of a clearinghouse. They're developing a clearinghouse of rural and remote health research, which will have a large component on health human resources, so we want to build on that. Looking at data infrastructure, this might be, again, some longer term, looking at a possible CFI. We can start with the data directory to say where is all this stuff available, but we could think about pulling together a CFI to develop an infrastructure to house those different data sets in one place, or something a bit more accessible instead of leading people off to a variety of different places, which would enable us to link those data sets, keeping in mind all the concerns that there are, of course, about privacy and confidentiality. We are going to have, we've started first with our open request for proposals or call for proposals, because we really want to see what the range of interests that are out there. So the call for proposals is like another arm of our consultation to see what, what the range is. And as we move forward and develop these stronger linkages with the ministry, we would probably work more towards strategic or targeted requests for proposals as we go along. So this is a really good time to submit something because it's much more open. And again, what's accessible there is seed funds, meeting and dissemination grants, probably in this first round more meeting than dissemination. Looking at student stipends, and we wanted to make sure that the calls were open to postdocs because it's very difficult for them to get access to research funds in this environment. Presently, we haven't opened up the call for proposals directly for doctoral or master's students to apply for a stipend. They have to do that in conjunction with their supervisor. And those are just in terms of the rules for us for transferring funds at the present time. So as soon as we can work something out, we're hoping to make that open. We want to make sure that everyone who's doing research on health human resources feels free to book a webinar through CH Networks with DOT. And those people who are members of OHHRN can do that. It's free. If you are doing it, we have sort of, different categories, whether or not if you're members it's free or whether or not there will be some form of cost recovery basis. But you can also use some of the infrastructure that we have here for meetings and follow-up and consulting with different community members. So today we have mostly online researchers, but CH Networks has created this really nice linkages into community decision makers, in communities within population health more broadly. So there's some really good outreach there. So we want to encourage you to contact Dot and give her more work just because she isn't busy enough, right?
Because I don't have enough to do.
Of course, of course. See, I knew that you'd come in on the line on that.
I heard my name.
Yeah. So, so getting to our call for proposals, we're looking at, yes, we're not exactly sure what happened there, so our apologies. So just getting back to the OHHRN call for proposals. So again, we wanted to be really quite conservative at this point because we wanted there to be a good success rate. So we kept the grants small, so between 10 and 25,000. So they're small research and capacity building grants. You are probably all familiar with our deadline for submission. It's today, February 16th. Like those in by 5. And we are aiming to have the funding decisions announced by in March. We need to make sure that we get the money out the door by the end of March. So that's why we have that March deadline. Now, the other thing about having the call for proposals at this particular time is that if we have a bunch of really, really good proposals, we will exhaust the funds that have been allocated to us in this fiscal year, so we would get the money out by March. And we may dip into the funds in next fiscal year, which means the money would be coming out in April. So that's a good thing. We have a little bit of flexibility in terms of the timing. We have an application form that's available online. It's not an online application form, but you can download it. It's available in Word, and so you download it from our website. And the application form, we're trying to keep it manageable. So you have the front page and a summary of the proposed research or capacity building activities, which is up to a maximum of 1 page. And then the description of the research program, and we have specific elements that we have identified there, and the space that we've allocated to those elements really should be adhered to. So, the bulk of those 5 pages will be the description of the activity. And then there are some specific sections that we would like you to target. So please tell us, how does this link in with existing funds that you have, okay? Because we're not asking you to tell us about, all of the funds that you have, like those multiple pages that we used to have to fill out on the CHR Common CV module. But we want to know how this links into. So for example, if you have a small amount of funds from your university, tell us how you are going to, how the funds you are applying to us for are going to augment those funds that you have. A very, very, very important section of the proposal, and I can't stress this more, is your plan for how you're going to leverage the funds that we provide to you. And the reason why we're asking that is because we, as the research network, are being asked to show the ministry how we're using those funds to leverage other funds. So it's very important for you to have a very clear plan about what you're going to do once you get these funds, how you're going to build upon that in terms of other applications. Now, if it's a capacity building activity for students, you could say that you are going to, of course, apply, to CHR. One of the things that we're trying to do with this is not just leverage funds, but we want